Alright, so today is the evening of day 52. 52 days since I bought these two little red-tailed catfish. I'm going to turn off the pump here. And when I bought them, they were about 2 weeks old, so they're 52 days plus 2 weeks. And look at how big they are. Every time I see them, they grow like a quarter of an inch almost every day, it seems like, which is pretty wild. So if you actually take a look at how big he is right there, when I bought him, he actually accidentally got sucked up in the filter between those tiny little slots in the top of the filter. That's how big he was when I got him. He's like the size of a tadpole, which is kind of crazy. And I bought one. I really only wanted one, and then I thought he died. Come to find out, he actually went into this little rock hide that I had in here. Oh, and I looked for that catfish for hours and hours. I could not find him. So I thought, this catfish died for sure. I just can't find him. So I went back to the pet store, and I bought another one because I knew they had two of them. So when I bought the other one, that one disappeared too. And then I realized I had a little a little rock in here, and they were hiding in a little cave in the rock. I just could not believe it. And then I ended up with two, and I was like, do I really want two? Because I know these guys get really super big. And I decided to keep them. I think it's better with two, actually. It's kind of interesting watch them kind of chase after each other, and they're like best buddies. It's kind of interesting. All right, so usually I clean up with a net first, but I think I'm going to feed them first this time. And today we're feeding beef liver, hands down their favorite food. I actually have been using 4 different kinds of food. I have beef liver, tilapia, shrimp, and cod. And I think out of all of them, the beef liver is definitely their favorite. I'm going to kind of spread it out a little bit. So normally what I do is I put this camera in an underwater housing, but I broke my underwater housing. And I ordered one on Amazon, but it's not going to be here for a couple more days. So we're just going to continue without it, and I'll get as close as I can so you can see these guys from a distance. Can't get really close like you can with the underwater camera. But yeah, these guys are doing fantastic. I can't believe how big they're getting. It's pretty amazing for 52 days. It hasn't even been 2 months since I bought them. And they're kind of going through a growth spurt. It seemed like once they got to a certain size where they started eating more food, it seemed like the growth rate really increased. So I actually started out at 2 inches, and last time I measured them a few days ago, they were 5 inches. So that's about an inch every 15 days, inch every couple weeks. But it seems like lately they've been growing a lot faster. It seemed like when I bought them at first at 2 inches, the growth rate was really super slow. It's like, are these really going to grow that fast? And then they reached a certain size where they started eating a lot more. And now they're eating a ton. It's pretty amazing. And they get really fat bellies. They're really cute catfish. It's pretty amazing. I can't believe how much they can eat. Alright, so there you have it. That is the evening of day 52. And normally what I do is I just wait until they eat pretty much almost all of it, or until they kind of go to their corners and just kind of hang out and just sit there bloated from all the food. And then I'll go in there with my big net and I'll clean it up. I clean up the extra food and anything left from the day before. Had a couple of little pieces from the day before, but I just left them in there this time. So that's about as much as they eat right there. So then they kind of go to their corner right there. They kind of hang out in their separate corners, which is weird. It's like they go and eat and then they get kind of bloated. So at that point, I kind of go in with my net. There's just a couple little pieces left. They ate most of that already. They eat super quick. It's amazing how fast they eat. I'll just kind of go in and spot clean with my big net. This filter's been working great too. It has a UV sterilizer and big sponges and carbon and everything in it. Keeping the water really super clean, which is nice. So that is pretty much it for tonight. Really super easy to take care of these fish. No decorations to clean, no substrate you have to worry about. It's really super easy. Alright, so I'm going to finish this video off with tomorrow's video. I'll feed them again in the morning and then give you this video. And then Monday, which is a couple days away, I'll actually get my underwater housing and we'll do some more underwater video. So I will see you in just a second, which is in the morning for me. So I'll see you in just a bit. Alright, so today is the morning of day 53. 53 days since I bought these two little red-tailed catfish. And they are getting big. I saw one swimming around. I was like, wow, he's pretty big. Looks like they can still hide around that filter there. Eventually they'll get to the point where they won't be able to hide in that filter. I noticed we're getting a little bit more foam on the top today. I know it's because the other day I left a little bit more food in there. Maybe it's foaming up a little bit. I was wondering how the biological filter is going to handle the load once they get really big in this little hot tub. Might be a problem with some really big catfish. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see once we get there. I could increase the water changes from once a week. I've been doing 50% once a week. I could do more, but boy, look at how big they're getting already. Alright, so today we're going to feed some tilapia. This is another one of their favorites. Well, their main favorite, their number one favorite is beef liver. I think tilapia is the second favorite for these guys. I still don't have my underwater set up, so I'll get as close as I can. Boy, I think I put, it's kind of deceiving chopping up this frozen food because some of it has a lot of water in it, which is actually ice. So then when it thaws out, it seems like I have a lot less. So like slice it with my knife off of a frozen block, and then if I wait just a few minutes, some of it, some of the ice melts and it looks like it's actually less, but it looks like there's not much ice at all with this tilapia. So far, I don't think they've actually realized that it's food on the bottom. I think I gave them a little too much. That's a lot of tilapia. Alright, now they're waking up a little bit. Getting a taste of it. They're still kind of fat from the last feeding. I've noticed that they never really thin out feeding them twice a day. That guy's going to town. I also noticed they're getting a lot more spots on their head too, which is interesting. When they were smaller, they didn't really have those spots. But it seems like the bigger they get, the more spots they get. Right on top of their head. Doesn't seem like they've been fighting to the point where they're like tearing up each other's fins or anything. The fins look really good. Haven't seen any diseases or anything since I bought them. No fungus or bacteria or anything, which is good. They seem super healthy. Yeah, they're making quick work of that tilapia. Wow. I'll let them swim around a little bit until they get full and kind of hang out in their corner. And then I'll go through with a net and kind of clean up a little bit. But yeah, they're doing pretty good. Yeah, I have way too much tilapia in there. They're getting full already, I can tell. I'll let them have a few more little nibbles and then I'll clean up with a net. That's kind of the good way to do it with these catfish, is let them eat until they're full and they kind of move to the corner and hang out, try to digest. That way you don't overfeed them. Seems like if you leave the food in there, they'll die. You know, they'll kind of hang out in the corner and then they'll come back for more and they'll go back in the corner and they get bigger and bigger and bigger until they get so bloated. I've seen them once where they're so bloated they can't even sit on their belly and they have to kind of sit sideways because their belly is so big. Alright, so I think that is all I'm going to let them eat. I want to go in and clean up. I think it's a good way to do it. Yeah, I probably put 3 times the amount of tilapia that I really need in there. That is a lot of tilapia. Alright. I guess I did have quite a bit of uneaten food down in these corners. I think that's what's causing the foam on the top. A little bit of foam. Not too bad. It's really hard to gauge how much to feed these guys, especially since the food's frozen. And every day they get a little bit bigger, so they need a little bit more food. That's kind of tough. So yeah, it's not quite as exciting without my underwater camera. You can get right up close to them. And I can add some music and spice it up a little bit. A couple more days, we'll get that underwater housing. I should buy 2 of them. That way if it breaks again, I'll have a backup. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the feeding and cleanup. I just have to run my net up to the sink and rinse it out. Alright, so there you have it. That is day 53. So I'll see you in the next video tomorrow.